Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving you my favorite running backs from every round from rounds 1 to 10, and this is going off of Fantasy Pros current ADP. The running back in round 1 that I like to leave with in every single draft is Christian McCaffrey. His upside is just absolutely unmatched. When he is healthy, there is nobody that is going to rival him in fantasy points per game, not even Jonathan Taylor. His pass catching upside, I mean, you're talking about a receiver and a running back just both built into one. With Baker Mayfield there now, I think that it, helps him out even more. I do think Baker Mayfield's probably a little bit better than Sam Darnold. I understand that there's injury concerns, but that goes for every single running back. That position gets injured more than any other one in football, so, I'm not worried when I can get a player that can single-handedly win me leagues. My favorite running back in round 2 is going to be DAndre Swift. Before he got injured in 2021, he led the league of all running backs in caught passes. The Lions' offensive line is top 5 in the league. I think Swift catches a ton of balls. I think the Lions go over their win total this year. And we saw Swift was one of the best fantasy running backs before his injury last year. I'll go right back to the well with him. Going on to round 3, favorite running back in round 3 is going to be Aaron Jones. With Devontae Adams leaving the Packers, there are a ton of targets that need to get spread around. And I think the Packers are going to rely on their running game a bit more. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to utilize both A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. I think both of these running backs can succeed. And if either of them goes down, the other one immediately becomes a top 5 running back. So I'm high on both, but specifically in round 3, Aaron Jones is one of my favorite running back targets. Moving on to round 4, favorite running back is going to be Travis Etienne. As we know, he was injured all of last year, but he is healthy now. He looks ready to go. James Robinson is coming off of a horrible injury in Achilles, and running backs rarely ever bounce back from Achilles injuries. I know they're not the same as they used to be, but it's still extremely hard. I think Etienne could absolutely explode this season. I think you have to kind of count out a lot of last year with the Jaguars and Urban Meyer. I think Lawrence takes a leap forward. I think the Jaguars take a leap forward. Etienne was the #1 pass catching back in college football before coming into the NFL, and he gets to play with his same quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I think Etienne can have a massive year. Moving on to round 5, I'm not really high on a lot of these running backs in these mid-range, so I would take stabs at ones that I think could be league winners, and that for me is someone like J.K. Dobbins. He's coming off of an injury, but we know the Ravens are one of the run-heaviest teams in the entire league, and I think J.K. Dobbins could be an absolute bell cow in this offense, scoring double-digit touchdowns, getting over 1,000 yards. I think he's a risky pick. Definitely one of the highest risks of re-injury, I think. But I will take stabs on him in a few drafts by taking him in round 5. Going on to round 6. And this is one of my favorite running back targets in these mid to late rounds, and that's going to be Miles Sanders. The Eagles just had a great draft. They're one of the run-heaviest teams in the entire league. They have the best offensive line in the league. And Miles Sanders, touchdown regression is going to come. I don't even know if Miles Sanders has scored a rushing touchdown in his career. He didn't score any last year, and I think people are overlooking him in this offense. Defenses aren't just going to be able to stack the box, as you have A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert to worry about. And I think you're going to see someone like Miles Sanders be a beneficiary of that. And in round 6, with a drastically improved Eagles offense, I'm definitely high on Miles Sanders this year. I think he can have an absolute breakout year. All right, moving on to round 7. Now, this is the area where I really love to target running backs, after you kind of get out of this running back dead zone, and that's Tony Pollard. I want to leave as many drafts possible with Tony Pollard. I think Zeke is about to fall off a cliff here. He kind of has already started to. Over the last 2 seasons, especially last year, we saw him play 17 games and barely hit 1,000 yards. I know he's been very durable. He's only missed 1 game in his entire career. But, we start to see running backs at this point with as many touches as Zeke has in his career really start to fall off a cliff. And if Zeke ever went down, Tony Pollard would be a top 5 running back. He has even, I think, #1 overall running back potential, depending on, if Zeke was injured early. I think the Cowboys finally realized Tony Pollard is their best back and they roll with him this year. Absolutely love Tony Pollard. I want to leave as many drafts possible with him. Moving on to round 8. This is like the areas where you're obviously kind of targeting your RB2s and, trying to find a running back that has some upside to possibly finish in that RB1 territory. And I think Chase Edmonds is that guy. Miami drastically improved their offense. Miami's offensive line is very, very much improved. Raheem Mostert is never healthy. They signed him. They paid Chase Edmonds the most out of all the running backs that they signed. I think if you were doing a zero running back strategy, Chase Edmonds is one of the prime targets to get in these later rounds, as he's someone that's going to be on the field immediately, getting you fantasy points, and he still has that upside in him. All right, moving into round 9. This is another one of my favorite targets, and that's going to be Ramondre Stevenson. James White has been the main Patriots pass-catching back over the last half decade or more. But James White, his best years are behind him. He's still battling through his injury from last year. And the Patriots have said they're working with Ramondre Stevenson on being the pass-catching back. However, if Damian Harris were to go down, you'd immediately see Ramondre Stevenson step into a possible bell cow role. And as we know with the Patriots, there always is some uncertainty with how they end up rolling out their RB1, and who knows, by the time the season starts, it could be Ramondre Stevenson as the lead back. And finally, in round 10, this pick is, I think this running back has as much upside as a lot of these ones I've mentioned, if not more. I think you could see 2017, 2018 Alvin Kamara-esque upside, and that's James Cook. The Bills are one of the best offenses, if not the best, in the entire NFL. They're one of the heaviest teams in the entire league, and James Cook was the best pass-catching running back coming out of college. There are some unknowns as to what running back will be the lead back in this offense. As of now, it's still probably Devin Singletary until things change, but James Cook is extremely talented. He could easily supplant Singletary as the lead back in this offense, and with a team that scores as many points as the Bills, James Cook could have a league-winning type season, completely break out as a rookie, and you need him to win your leagues. But thank you again for watching, and in my next video, I'm going to cover my favorite wide receiver in each round from rounds 1 through 10. If you could please hit that like button and please subscribe, helps out the channel a lot, and I'll see you next time.